Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Beanie and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be once again grading the team affinity rewards, and today we are going to be finishing up the American League with the American League West. This is a bit of a more pitcher heavy division, but I would say this is probably the least interesting division out of all of them, but there's still some really good players in it and some really intriguing arms and also an intriguing bat in there. But anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. First up, we have the 85 overall Garrett Richards, and this is kind of just a really balanced overall pitcher that has really great stuff. That's kind of how I view this guy. He has, solid hit and K per 9, not great. His walk per 9 isn't terrible. It's enough where you can get by. He has a little bit of home run per 9 to throw in there as well, which, in my opinion, by my experience in the past few games that I've played, it matters a lot at the upper levels. Then he has great velo. Throws 97, 96 on his fastballs, and he has three pretty solid secondary pitches and a slider, curveball, and changeup. One issue is that his changeup is he does throw it a little harder than most people, but since he throws his fastball really hard as well, he does have about a 10 mile per hour delta, 9 to 10 mile per hour delta on that. So that's solid, but it's not great. I would really like if he had a changeup that was in more of like the 80 to 84 range, then I think that this guy, I would grade him a lot higher. But because he doesn't have that much separation there, and the fact that he doesn't have like a sinker that's really nasty or anything like that, I couldn't put this guy too high. Also, the per 9s kind of keep him down just a little bit. I mean, they're good per 9s, but they're not great per 9s. But overall, I still think this is a very solid pitcher. A guy that, if I had him right now, he would definitely be in my rotation, because outside of Keuchel, my rotation is actually kind of terrible. But anyways, I ended up giving him a fag of a 7.6, and I think that's about right for this card. It's just a solid, balanced card overall, and that throws hard, and throwing hard is always a good thing this year. Next up is the exact type of card that I kind of hate. I do not like cards like this. Somebody left a comment in one of my videos whenever I did like the best team affinity rewards, and they were like, well, why didn't you mention the Donaldson? That Donaldson's a beast. And I'm like, really? Like, what do you see about this card that you find so compelling? It's like, yeah, he hits lefties really good, so I mean, there's that. And I mean, that's good, maybe he can be a platoon if you have a left-hand, maybe if you have like Jose Ramirez or something, he doesn't hit lefties all that well, even though he's a switch hitter. But overall, this card just isn't really all that appealing to me. I mean, 77-54 versus righties, that's not that good. And then against lefties, 101-81, that's really good. Like that, I mean, that's elite, And then he does have 73 vision, so I don't know, maybe you could make the argument that power doesn't matter as much this year and contact does, so that 77 contact versus righties with 73 vision, that makes him a viable starter, against right-handed pitching. And maybe I could see that. I mean, he does have great defense to go along with it, but usually if I'm going for a contact guy that doesn't have a lot of power, I'm going to want some speed thrown in there too, and he only has 53 speed. So once again, this is just not the type of card that I really go after, get into, especially if it requires like a grind or something. But that doesn't mean it's a bad card. It is a good card. It does have utility, and if you're in need of a guy like this, I mean, he does serve a role, and he is a good defender, and he does hit lefties well. So for all those reasons, I ended up giving him a fag of 7.2. I do think that he's a good DD starter, but just not the kind that I look for, if that makes sense. After that, we have the 87 overall Buhner for the Mariners. And now, I know that this is going to be kind of counterintuitive, because this is also a guy that hits lefties better than he hits righties, but I appreciate this guy's skill set more than I do that Donaldson, simply because he has the power versus righties. He has that 92 power, and he also has 65 contact versus righties, which is solid. It's not great, but it's solid. The one thing that I do worry about with this card is that vision, and I know at Hall of Fame, I've been playing on Hall of Fame for a few days now, and like, the vision matters a lot. Contact matters a lot. And I don't know if I can make this card viable at the Hall of Fame or Legend level. I think I could find guys who are better, guys who are more contact oriented. Feels like the meta really is shifting towards contact hitters. But it's like, if you want the power, you can get it in there and you're not going to lose a whole lot of defense. He does only have 68 reactions, so he's not going to be the rangiest guy in the world, but if he gets to a ball, he's going to be reliable. He has 82 fielding, and then he has that cannon of an arm, so nobody is going to be running on you. If a ball's hit into right field on like a sac fly or anything, you're going to be able to hose them every time. So that has a lot of value. I think that this is one of the better overall players in the Team Affinity programs, but I do think that if you're playing on All-Star, this guy is going to be amazing. He's going to be amazing for you. But if you're playing on Hall of Fame or on Legend or something like that, I think this guy is going to be far less viable in those environments. And for those reasons, I ended up giving him a FAG of 7.7, simply because he does have such a strong arm, and that is so important for right field, along with power, and he's a good fielder. And really the only thing that this card is severely lacking is speed and a little bit of contact versus righties. So yeah, FAG of a 7.7. I feel that's about right, even though he may not be the card for me. I do think that he could be the card for a lot of people out there. Next up, we have the Yu Darvish for the Texas Rangers, and this card, in terms of value, I kind of view him similarly as the Garrett Richards, but for different reasons. First, hit and K per 9, way better, way better than that Garrett Richards, and then the control is a little bit worse, so there's like a bit of a trade-off there. And then the Garrett Richards has amazing velo and really good break. This guy has really good velo and amazing break, like some of the best break in the game. One thing that I really do like about this pitcher is that he has a slider for his primary pitch, so you can spam that all day and you're not gonna, get any regression from it throughout the game. It's gonna be your best pitch throughout the game, and if you're facing a right-handed hitter, the slider is probably the best pitch in the game. It's very difficult to consistently make contact with, so that's really nice to have on this card. And then he does throw kind of hard, 95, 93, 90, but then the major flaw with this card is that he doesn't have a changeup. Now, he does have a big looping 12-6 curveball that he throws really slowly, but that's not the same as having a changeup. That pitch can be a lot tougher to control. It's a lot easier to read out of the pitcher's hand. It's just not deceptive enough. And outside of this guy's slider, he doesn't really have a viable pitch to throw to lefties that is going to be deceptive enough for him to get by. So I think against righties, this guy is going to be dominant. Against lefties, you might struggle a bit, or you might just have to get kind of creative. But still, since he does have that 92, 95 hit and K per 9, I think that kind of brings him right up there kind of with the Garrett Richards in terms of value. So I ended up giving him a FAG of a 7.6, tied with Garrett Richards. Okay, and then finally, we have the 86 overall Dallas Keuchel, and this is probably the least impressive of all the players in the AL West. Probably one of the least impressive pitchers in all the Team Affinity programs. Maybe there's one that's worse, I don't know. But this guy just doesn't throw hard enough, man. And I know that kind of junk ballers are a little more viable this year in MLB The Show. I get that. But still, they're not as viable as guys that throw hard. And if you don't have a real threat of a fastball to throw at someone, then they can just kind of sit on your off-speed stuff and react to the fastball, especially at the lower levels. And that's kind of what I fear with this card. And if he had the hit and the K per 9 to make up for that, like 90 plus, 100 plus hit and K per 9, then I would worry a lot less about that, but he doesn't. He has 82-74, which is just good. It's not great at all. And then he does have good walk per 9, so you're going to be able to hit your spots. And he does have great break. So that slider and that changeup are going to be pretty good pitches. So I think with this guy, if you get a guy that is not patient at all, that swings at everything, this guy is probably going to be pretty good for you because you can just kind of spam that slider and change up at him and then mix in the fastball occasionally, and you're going to have him all out of sorts. But if you have a guy who is disciplined and is willing to wait on his pitch to hit, I think you're probably going to struggle a good bit with this card. So for all those reasons, I ended up giving him a FAG of a 6.8. But okay guys, that is going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And yeah, we will try to stream tonight. I didn't stream yesterday. I had some stuff come up, which basically means I was too lazy to do it. No, I really did have some stuff come up, but I got in at like 10 and I could have streamed then, but I don't know, it was too late and I wanted to go to bed and I didn't want to be up till like 1 o'clock in the morning streaming, you know. So I just went to bed, but we will try to stream tonight. If we do, it will be a little bit later. So check out the channel around like 9 or 10, and we'll see if I'll be streaming, and I will tweet it out as well whether or not I'll be streaming. So just check my Twitter for that. And yeah, I love you guys. I will see you guys later, but until then, peace.